JT Cruz on the Sports Buffet podcast. Always love talking to Coach Cruz, and Coach Cruz doesn't love talking to me as much as he likes winning, and he really needs that on Friday night. Big game against EC Glass. Big game for points and everything.
That's true. That's true. And Bob, I'll say this. You are dead on. I really like talking to you, but man, I love winning. I love winning. Yeah, it is a big game, man. And EC Glass and Jefferson Forest, Black and Blue Bowl, man, it doesn't get much bigger than that. So we're excited for this one, man, especially going into City Stadium, playing at their place. Should be a really, really good one.
Give me why this comment is wrong. EC Glass is not a very good football team right now.
Well, I'll say it's wrong, one, because they're a Seminole District football team. And I think if you look over the course of the past however many years, in the Seminole District, from top to bottom, it is quality football. And I'll take it even further. If you look at EC Glass, right, and you just look at their record, people are going to think, oh, 2 wins, whatever, they're not very good. Well, then you go look at the teams that they played and lost very tight football games to. They lost a tight game to GW, who is currently the number 1 team in Region 4D. They lost a tight game to Patrick Henry, who is also the number 1 team in their region, undefeated. They lost to Heritage, who's a really, really good football team, and everybody knows the deal with the Jug Bowl, man. You can almost, that one, you can throw that out. That game can go a million different ways, right? And then they lost to LCA, who's a really, really quality football team, right? And so Glass is good, man. If you watch them play, they're good. And even in some of those losses, they are competing at a pretty high level. So, yeah, I don't think anybody who really knows this EC Glass football team and studies them would say, oh, man, they're no good.
What's the biggest thing that worries you about them?
It's every game, right? It's not necessarily the worry about EC Glass. It's we have to hold ourselves to an ultra high standard and come out and play and execute and be mindful of the details from the first snap all the way to the last snap. And that's got nothing to do with EC Glass and everything to do with us. And we know if we do that, we'll be successful. But when you talk about EC Glass, obviously they're a team that is going to be very well coached. Jamar does a phenomenal job over there. They're going to be explosive on both sides of the ball. They got guys who can make you miss in space and do some good things. They got a quarterback who can run around and beat you with his legs and his arm. And so there's some things they do on both sides of the ball that are very, very effective. And so, again, we have to be conscious of that and understand that, there may be some adversity in this game, right? How do we handle that as a football team? Do we panic? Do we press? Or do we buckle down and execute the way that we are capable of executing? And again, if we do that, we're going to be just fine.
How have you handled adversity so far this year, in your opinion, and give me a specific example?
So it's been hard in the sense that a lot of our games early ended up being a little bit lopsided. And so it was tough to point to any of those particular moments and say, hey, we had adversity here, right? First game of the season, we come out and we play really, really well against a good Gretna team who we're their only loss right now. But I don't know if there's any singular moment in that game that you could point to and say, yes, that was our adversity. I think probably the biggest one was going and playing Mount Airy. So you experienced some adversity through some travel in that point, and then we turned the ball over and gave up a quick score. We rallied from that. And I thought handled that really well. But truly, I think the biggest adversity that we've had so far was that loss to LCA, where we don't feel that we played the way that we are capable of playing. We made some mistakes early in that game that really put us in a hole. And I think coming out of that game, we felt like as a football team, maybe we didn't handle that adversity early on as well as we could have. I think a lot of it was our guys started pressing in a game that they wanted to win so bad that they're trying to play just a little bit too fast. They're trying to do just a little bit too much over and above what their job and assignment is on that particular play. And when you do that, it's not going to go the way that it should for you if you just go out there and play your way, execute the way that you're capable of executing, right? And so it was good that we had that. It was good that we experienced that in a regular season game against a really, really quality LCA football team. So we could point to that and say, hey, we've been here before. We've experienced that adversity before, so that when it comes around the next time, we don't make those same errors.
The bye week came, then Amherst came. Did you get things cleaned up against the Lancers in your eyes?
Truthfully, the bye week was more about just us. It was about us improving as a football team. And even against the Lancers, it was about us being better that Friday than we were 2 Fridays ago against LCA. And so there were some things that we were looking for from an execution standpoint on both offense, defense, and special teams that we knew we had to get cleaned up. And for the most part, I think we went out there and did it. And now the goal for this week is we got to be a better football team against EC Glass than we were against Amherst, right? It's that continuous improvement week over week. And like that doesn't happen on Fridays. That happens on Monday through Thursday. And that happens because we spent the bye week not necessarily worrying about Amherst, but worrying about us. Like making concerted efforts to improve who we are as a football team that had nothing to do with any of our opponents.
What's the one thing that you guys have to do this week to get another W?
The number one thing that we have to do this week is play our style of football. We cannot let anybody else dictate the game to us. We have to dictate the game. And so that's being physical up front on both sides of the ball, offense and defense, letting our line go out there and play the way that they are capable of executing, or the way that they are capable of playing by executing the way that they are capable of executing, right? Not letting anything that EC Glass does on their end take us out of our game. I think that is the number one thing, is just going and playing our style of football. And that's consistent execution on both offense, defense, and on special teams as well.
It sounds so scripted. It sounds so simple, but it's not either.
That's the constant battle every week, right? And like that's the thing with football, and especially when you're talking about teenagers. All of a sudden you start winning some games and you start feeling really good about yourself, and you start to kind of pull back a little bit on that sense of urgency that you have in practice Monday through Thursday. And when you start to do that, it shows up on Friday. And so that's the constant battle. That's the constant struggle, is we have to go out every day at practice with the same sense of urgency as if we were playing for the state championship this weekend, right? Because that's what it takes to continuously improve as a football team. We got to go out there and we can't waste a single second on that practice field.